As we come up on deer season, a lot of parts of the United States, I want to talk today about our passion for deer hunting and particularly what we can do to extend the hunt. You can see that we're into a lot of aspects of hunting. Of course, we like to eat too. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Gun News and Reviews. This is David Drake. So over the course of the 3.5, 4 years that this channel's been going under a couple different names, we've talked a lot about different tools you can use for hunting, and my biggest passion is deer hunting. And traditionally, most of my successes come going out west. I live in the upper Midwest, but I hunt in Montana every year and hunt for mule deer. And what I've always looked for is ways to extend the hunting season because it's just way too short. Where I live here in Minnesota, the gun season for most parts of the state is just 2 weeks. And everybody and their brother is out in various public land for sure, and just putting a lot of pressure on the deer. And it's also, in my opinion, not a safe environment. You've got people that, for whatever reason, will choose things like a 30-06 with a high-power scope for a tree stand shot, which very likely won't be over 50 yards. So I just kind of gave up on Minnesota hunting, probably about 10 years ago for that reason. So different things you can do to extend your season. Minnesota's kind of a weird state because it's the northern half basically allows for a rifle, a bolt action, and the southern half of the state is shotgun only during rifle season. But there's some caveats to that. You can have a longer period of time with which to hunt if you are using handguns. You can also get a longer period of time with which to hunt, usually extends beyond a few weeks, if you're using muzzle loaders. So I've talked about all 4 of those things here on the channel. Shotguns, we've talked about obviously bolt action rifles, we've talked about handguns, and we've talked about black powder rifles. So but none of those things really does what I want, which is totally extend the hunting season. So this year, we're gonna take a new journey on our hunting, learning, and sharing adventures, and that's gonna be this guy right here, a compound bow. Now, before any of you hit the stop button, the skip button, the turn this clown off button, I would like to point out that we're not going to change the focus of the channel here. It is gun news and reviews and will remain so. However, because there's a pretty strong crossover between firearms related hunting and archery hunting, and there's a lot of guys that do both, thought we'd kind of give you guys that don't know anything about archery or have any experience with it a little bit of a taste of what goes on here. And like I said, my whole reason for doing this, first and foremost, is to extend that hunting season. So I'm just going to briefly take a look at the equipment here. Dog's not interested. But what we have here is an Edge 320 from Diamond Archery. And the 320 significance is at 70 pounds of pull. This is theoretically capable of generating 320 feet per second. I've got this set in the low 60s, had it set up for me by the folks at Shields, and as I learn about what I'm doing, I'll understand what preferences I like. But it's a nice compound bow. I asked the guys there, can you set me up with something that isn't top of the line but serviceable for a number of years? In other words, you know, as I learn what I like and what I need in this kind of platform, I'll make additions to this, upgrade sights, which I've already done, things of that nature. But, you know, it just comes down to, I'm not the guy that's going to go buy the top of the line when I don't even know what I'm doing. So you see here, these are the arrows that I've been using for practice. And these are the broadheads that we'll use for hunting. I'm gonna pick up a few more of those. So without going tiresome on specs and things like that, I have to say that this is a really, really cool setup. And what's also cool about it, it's very lightweight. You can see right there your sighting pins. And I've got this top one sighted in at 20, the middle one, the red one, is sighted in at 30, and the bottom one is going to be good for 40 with the broadheads. And you have to do a different sighting procedure for your broadheads than you do your practice arrows at some point in order to do that, because there is a different in terms of how they fly and the weight and so forth. It's not a huge difference, but it's a couple inches. So you know, there's work to do with this, just like when you're sighting in different hunting ammo with a scope. The gear you're looking at right here ended up running me about 900 bucks for everything you see right here. So you want to put that in terms of what you might spend on a rifle and a scope. These guys right here, they're like razors. You get a deer in the vitals with one of those, and it's going to create a lot of blood loss. So I'm super fortunate to have this archery complex, which is free, open as long as it's daylight. I'm very fortunate to have this within a 5-minute drive from my house. So no excuse not to practice. 30's kind of our sweet spot, but we're going to see about getting this sighted in out to 40 and so forth. So we were aiming right here at 30 yards, so we're a little bit low and right, but it's consistent. It looks like we might have had one go all the way through. And here we go. We mentioned the need to specifically sight in your hunting arrows or your broadheads, and you can't do that at the public range just because of the destruction it does to the target. So we had to buy a specific target just to do that. This is my own target. Thing to remember about deer is all they got to do is eat, sleep, make other little baby deer, and stay alive. So they're really good at knowing when somebody's coming into their living areas, their wandering areas. The weather like what I'm sitting in today, there's no wind at all, so really hard to determine how to work your scent. You know, a tree stand would be a great idea, but the problem is, you know, in public land, technically you're not supposed to post up a tree stand overnight or leave it there or anything like that. Well, but you know, that's the fun of it, figuring it out, figuring out what the deer are gonna do, figuring out where to go, when to get there. Now this is a piece of public land that's a walk-in area, and I'll call your attention to the corn stalks right here. And what do you see right here? Most definite deer path. So they're coming out of that woods, probably where they like to go. Got another path this way. So my guess is right in here can be a busy intersection. Of course, I'm not going to walk down that trail. They probably use these tire track ruts as well. You get down in here, it's very likely that they spend a good deal of their time right in here, especially when it's hot. So some place where I'm not trespassing, where I could use some of this natural cover, depending on the wind condition, might be a good spot. You know, when you see somebody post a permanent deer stand, you probably are on the right track. So we're going to take advantage of that extended hunting season and spend a lot more time getting out. I need that excuse and reason to get more active. This last year, I put on quite a bit of weight after having a knee replacement surgery. So I need this kind of active excuse. A lot of you guys that are big guys like me, or older guys or whatever, that maybe you don't want to be a gym rat. We all still need to get that exercise. It's very important, and very much looking forward to showing you what kind of results, if any, I get this year. Like I said, if this becomes something that I get into, and I do tend to immerse myself into stuff I like, firearms, guitars, perhaps bow hunting, I'll just start another channel. I won't turn this channel into something it's not. This is gun news and reviews. We love firearms here. We love hunting. And we really appreciate you guys watching, and maybe we can learn some stuff together. For more gun news, reviews, and perhaps updates on our extended hunting season this year, please like and subscribe. Gun News and Reviews.